welcome back. This is Jasper. This is Broketostoke. Today, if you are interested in sort of hearing my thoughts about the metaverse, NFTs, and different projects and things like that, I won't be talking specifically about any projects. More, I will just be talking about sort of the opportunity and the possible future of these projects and these things. So if you are interested in that, go ahead, watch this video. It might be for you. Maybe I'll give you some new ideas or sort of a perspective that you haven't had quite yet. Just changed up the light a little bit. Sorry, things were just a little bit uneven, so I had to figure out that light over there. Yeah, so welcome to the channel. My name's Jasper. I like to talk about sort of things going on in the world, things that I'm thinking about, lessons, business ideas, and all sorts of different things. So if you are new to the channel, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe down below. And yeah, let's get into the video. Today is April 1st. It's a little bit late in the evening right now. And I said that I was going to make this video. I sort of am recording it last minute. I had sort of a version that I had started, but something new happened. Snoop Dogg this morning actually had released a video, which majorly was about an NFT project that he is a part of or sort of bought into earlier and made money, but he released a song that was mostly video from sort of this NFT project or this metaverse world. And so the project itself is called Sandbox, and he has sort of a property inside this metaverse world, which I think is kind of interesting because, you know, like Snoop Dogg is a musician. He's that kind of an artist. And so, you know, he doesn't do like physical like things like paintings or clay and pottery or whatever, you know, like or sculptures of some sort or whatever. He releases music, which typically are audio files. And so people have released sort of NFTs with like audio files, which I think is a really awesome opportunity for musicians to sort of try and tap into and explore that world of. This is sort of just something that me as a photographer and someone who's sort of like into this whole digital thing, I'm really intrigued by it. I think it's a really awesome opportunity for creators of all kinds to sort of release their artwork to their fans or their following and give them an opportunity to sort of buy into these projects. And, you know, I guess what I think is really interesting is, you know, a lot of it seems to be a scam sort of world right now. There's a lot of people that are getting ripped off, a lot of people who are losing money, a lot of people who are buying into things that they haven't really looked into. And so they're buying on speculation, which causes a bubble sometimes. And that is when a lot of people have created sort of a speculative value of something that has maybe no actual value. So there's this belief of a value that's larger than what the actual value is. So bubbles have happened before in history, many times before, and, you know, there's different kinds of bubbles. There's been real estate bubbles, there's been financial bubbles, there's been the dot-com bubble, there's all sorts of things that sort of have happened. And even if you look up the tulip craze, that was another thing where the price of tulips, the head of or a bulb, like a flower, just was extremely valuable because it was just seen by the wealthy as something that was valuable. And over time it just sort of crept through society and became this thing that sort of took over. So, you know, there's definitely the possibility that right now we are seeing a bubble as far as NFTs, the metaverse, that sort of thing. But I do actually think that if you look more into the sort of creators who are maybe smaller names, musicians, digital artists, and people who are sort of just doing things passionately, you might be able to find some projects that are actually worth buying into. And I think it's interesting to think about because, like, I have Pokemon cards, and Pokemon cards for a while were just cards, like everyone had them. As we all know, they have sort of gained value over time because it was a part of the culture. It's now something that is like it's turned into a good investment if you've held on to those. Bitcoin is something that was extremely speculative. It came from fractions of a dollar, like pennies, and it is now worth, over $40,000 per Bitcoin. I do have a story about Bitcoin myself that I would love to share in the future, but currently I don't want to actually just talk about that because I would be technically a millionaire, but because the domain that it was hosted on was sort of closed down and stripped. So yeah, it's gone. Me as a photographer, I've looked around and I've found some really interesting NFT projects from smaller artists who are photographers who may create a digital version of a print, and they may only sell one or two or 10 or something like that. And then they'll have the physical version of that print as well sent to the buyer of the NFT. So once you buy the NFT, you actually also own the physical copy, which I think is really interesting because it's not only the physical copy that may have value over time because there's only one or two or so many of those prints, but you may also own an NFT that goes up in value over time as well. And so the way that that's different from owning just artwork is like, I could sell my photography prints. I could sell my landscape photos and sell them all nice and framed up, and I could, sign them, and I could give even like a nice little customized card that says, verification of ownership. This is your serial number, or this is one of, so many prints, or this is the number of, like I could have each one, two, three, four, five, all the way up to however many I print. But, the idea of it is scarcity or limited supply or something like that. If you are a photographer who is, maybe not very well known, but it's coming up in sort of the art world and you are becoming known over time, your first versions of anything might be very valuable in the future. And, if you think of Banksy artworks, there's so many that, go for millions of dollars at this point. And in most situations, the Banksy artwork pieces have been sold, in small mom and pop shops and pop up shops here and there and things like that. And the way that that artwork has been distributed has been mostly in a way that people can afford it. And so it's kind of interesting because NFTs are sort of this sort of lower entry point for ownership of people's digital artwork or digital versions of their artwork. And so I'm really interested by NFTs myself, as you could probably tell through the way that I'm just talking about it. But of course, there are risks. I do want to be, very transparent about, the idea that if you are buying cryptocurrencies to then purchase NFTs, you're not only betting on the NFT, but you're also betting on the cryptocurrency, which still many people will say is sort of a speculative area of finance or, making money or trying to sort of invest. Some people may say that it's an investment, and some people may even say that it's just gambling. I do think that cryptocurrencies are investments. I think that they are a great way to possibly transfer money in the future. Currently, it is kind of slower, and the utility and the usability is not globally sort of I don't know. It's not a global thing quite yet. So with time, we will figure out sort of who are the Google, and the .com bubble definitely did pop, and there was a bunch of things that fell 90% in value. But there are things that fell 90% in value but now have come up thousands of percent as far as stock value. If you are looking into this as an investment rather than just something that you're interested in, you do have to be careful. You do have to make sure that you are doing a lot of research and checking into these things. I personally am not really invested in any cryptocurrency. Pretty interesting that Snoop Dogg made a video, about the metaverse, and it's like a music video, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully that educates people and gets people, get some attention and gets people like sort of trying to do some research and figure things out. And of course, I do think it's a risky space, so there are going to be people who lose a bunch of money, but I think also it's possible that there's also sort of the effect of over time, everything that falls 90% still might go back up eventually over time, just because like Pokemon cards and Beanie Babies and VHS and Blu-ray DVD, like these are just random things, vinyl, cassette tapes and everything. It's like there's pennies out there that are worth thousands of dollars just because they're old and they were rare. And if you're holding on to the right ones, yeah, they might be worth a lot. And so I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I'm not really interested in it for necessarily the money. I think that it's definitely part of the idea of this is all that. I think it's interesting that artists can now create sort of like these digital versions of whatever they created, and they can then sell it, and have like limited numbers and different versions and editions and things like that. And so, of course, there's sort of the oversupply of all of these random sort of characters like bears and whales and apes and whatever, crypto punks and everything like that, which I think those still may in the future definitely still retain their value, because they are some of the earliest versions of these NFTs that were available on the market. And so regardless of them having great potential of falling to zero in the near term, the next 5 years or something, if you look further out 10-15 years, they may be extremely valuable, and who knows, they may only actually just keep going up with value and they may never go down. But of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm not trying to steer anyone towards investing in any cryptocurrencies or NFTs. I just think that it's an important thing for people to start trying to focus on or think about and be aware of, because there is a lot of unknown in sort of the future space of these things. And I think that currently what we are seeing with the U.S. economy and just the world economy at general, in general, we individuals are now starting to focus a little bit more on how our money works for us and what kind of things we can do to empower ourselves. And I think, it's impressive that, some of these projects are just like these little projects that people started to put together. But I think beyond that, it's also really cool that there's even opportunities for jobs, it seems, that are coming through the evolution of the metaverse and these worlds and things like that. There's, like casinos where people are, of course, this is where people are also gambling, but, casinos exist all across the world. And, in third world countries, I guess, and possibly even here and in other developed countries, people are like getting paid to be like clerks or, sort of people that do things. There's like jobs inside these sort of like games. And so that's really interesting that, people are being almost employed to do things. And it's really kind of cool to see. And, they might be making more money than they would be if they were doing a regular job, which, kind of seems, or they may be getting paid in more stable currency than what they have available. So if I've heard of people in other video games, people from Venezuela and certain areas of Asia. I'm not sure which areas, but certain areas, people like play these games to try and make money in the game, and then you can sell the money. So, that's a really big thing that I think is kind of cool. But it's cool for people to be able to, pay their bills, feed themselves, and have a life if that's what it takes. And, if they're being paid in US currency or some other currency, maybe even if it's just getting paid in cryptocurrency, that might be better than being paid in whatever other currency they have, because it may be extremely like hyperinflated. And so, it's an interesting time that we live in. I'm even considering like trying to find one of these metaverse worlds and see if I could get a job and get paid, because I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of money here and there just sitting around, because I've been looking for a job, and that sounds like I could maybe jump on that opportunity. Who knows? So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's really that. I want to just say thank you if you watched this video all the way to the end. If you did watch all the way to the end, if you did watch all the way, just leave a comment down below. Let me know if any of this information sort of got you thinking, or if you do have experience in NFTs and cryptocurrency. Leave a comment below, sort of, letting me know what you're looking into, what kind of projects you have really found are interesting. And I do want to possibly like make a video that sort of explains cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology and things like that a little bit more. Like I'm not sure if that's what my audience would like. I don't really know what my audience really is right now. So if you are here watching at the end, let me know down below if you would like to know more about cryptocurrency, or if you just like listening to like my thoughts and what I have to say. So yeah, I don't know. That's really that. Once again, I am still running a discount on Broketostoke merch. Comment, use the code BROKE for 10% off, and the link will be first thing in the description. All other social media links also are down below, so go ahead and check those out. Yeah, all right, word, cool. I will see you guys Monday. All right, bye.